Where are you from?
New York.
We're in New York City, right here. Oh, well, good for you. How old a girl are you? Yeah?
13.
13, so you're just a kid then. You're just really a kid.
Sure.
Yeah. Was this like your first big movie, this Robert Redford deal?
This was like the largest part that I've ever had, other than I did an independent film called Manny and Low, and I played Manny, so.
Yeah. So you've been doing this a while then?
Yeah, I guess, you know, in Scarlett years, it's a while.
In Scarlett years, meaning, sure, it eats up a huge percentage of your life, but
Right.
you're only 13, so what are we talking about really then, huh?
Like, I've been doing it for about 5 years.
How did you get started? Did your folks help you get started? Did you always want to be an actress? When did you know?
I've always wanted to be an actress. I mean, ever since I can remember. I mean, I remember when I was 3 telling my mom that I had fire in my brain to act, and you know, she must have thought I was crazy or something.
Yeah.
But she said, you know, wait until you get older.
Yeah.
And so,
I remember when I was 3, I told my mom, there's something wrong in my diapers. That's a whole different deal, though. And did you ride horses and stuff?
I had never really ridden horses before. I mean, I actually told them. I felt bad about it afterwards.
You lied that you were an accomplished equestrian?
Well, no, I didn't say. I didn't use those words exactly,
Yeah.
but you know, Bob Redford said, "Have you ever been on a horse before?" And I said, "Yes, I've been on a horse before. They may have been plastic, you know." But you know, I didn't tell him that. I just said I'd been on a horse before. I took him literally.
Yeah.
And so, and then when I got the part and we started filming, the Wranglers called the casting director. My casting director called my agent and was like screaming on the phone, "She doesn't know what she's doing.
Oh, yeah,
We
yeah.
thought she knew how to ride." She was like, "No, she told you she'd been on a horse before."
Exactly, yeah.
So,
And did you finally take to it all right? I mean, what is the trick? You just have to be comfortable on the animal,
Yeah,
don't you?
I mean, I think after a few lessons, I was more comfortable and confident with what I was doing. You know, at
Yeah.
first I was kind of like.
And what about,
fumbling
and you
around.
called Robert Redford Bob. Now, is that all right to be calling him Bob?
Well, I don't really call him Bob.
Yeah, what did you call him?
I call him Bowie.
Called him Bowie.
Yeah, he didn't really like it at first, but after a while he got used to it.
You get used to being called Bowie.
Yeah. but,
And why exactly was Bowie the name of choice?
Well, I think I didn't like to call him Bob. You know,
Yeah.
it's not that I don't like the name Bob. All you Bobs out there, you know, don't be offended. But I think that I felt like Bob sounded too formal and too kind of like the people that thought it was cool to know him would call him Bob, you know, like me and Bob.
First of all, he's too old to be called Bob.
Well, come on.
You could call him Robert. You could call him Robert. You could call him Mr. Redford. I don't know about this Bowie thing. That's between you and Bob. But the fact that the guy is in his late 70s means you're not calling him Bob. You know what I'm saying?
I'm excited to have you here because you know why. You know why. The first time you were on this show, you were like 13 years old, is that right?
I was, yes. It was about 7 or 8 years ago.
That's
and
crazy,
I have
isn't it?
something to tell you about that.
All right.
I remember when you used to give out canned hams
That's
to
right.
people?
We would pass
Well,
out canned hams.
Yes.
People loved it.
Well, I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was on the show, I asked the producers if I could please have a canned ham, and you gave me one after the show,
Mm-hmm.
and it's still in my refrigerator.
Wow.
Yes. At first, what?
Wow, that can be
first-
dangerous.
At
don't-
first it was, I know, it could be
Yeah,
kind of combust.
lethal.
But at first we thought, you know, it was sort of a family kind of oddity, and everybody stared at it, oh, there's the canned ham. And then kind of a couple years later around the holiday times, we'd want to make more room in the fridge. But then, I don't know, it became kind of part of the family.
Part of the family.
Yes, yeah.
Can't really get rid of the ham, can
Yes,
you?
no, so it's still
But
keeping
I
it.
just wonder if it would be safe. I mean, is it bulging or hissing or is it throbbing?
I don't know when the last time we checked on it was, but
Oh, man.
possibly.
Oh, my gosh. Because, you know, when we got them, they weren't exactly fresh. So add another 4 or 5 years onto that ham. We just had like a New Year's Eve. Did you have a big New Year's Eve celebration?
Well, I had planned on having a sort of celebration. I went out and I got sushi because I thought it would be kind of glamorous, and we went to this very glamorous sushi restaurant. And but it was a prefix menu, and the first, you know, the appetizer. The first thing that came out was a raw lobster in a martini glass. And I don't know.
Raw lobster meat cut up and in a martini
It
glass.
wasn't really cut up. I don't know if you ever had raw lobster, but it's sort of, it's like big pieces, and you kind of have to, like, you have to kind of commit to it because it's sort of,
Yeah.
it just is clear and slimy, and you just kind of put the whole thing in your mouth.
Ooh,
And
ooh.
it was awful. And by the 5th course, we said, please stop, no more. And it was, it was from then on, I know the night just sort of went south.
Yeah. But it's moments like that you can say to your friends, I got a ham back at the house. If you want to come by, you're not too sick. Now, when you turned 21, you celebrated at Disney World or Disneyland?
When I turned 20, I had a birthday at Disneyland. But this year...
Oh, that's right. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
my brother wanted to go to a strip club, so we went there instead.
Strip club?
Yeah.
Well, what's that for? I mean, why did you want to...
Well, Disneyland's all the way in California, and
Right.
we were in New York, so we went to a strip club instead.
Yeah.
So it's the obvious alternate destination. And do women enjoy that sort of thing?
Well, some women do. But I thought, my brother wanted to go, and he had the time of his life, and I went, and I thought, oh, it would be funny. We'd round up the family and everything.
Well, the family goes.
Well, no, family and friends.
Family and friends, sure.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
it spans generations, the club, you know
Yeah,
what I
that's
mean?
right.
So we got there, and of course, somebody ordered me a lap dance, which, of course, I first I went, like, no, and then I thought, okay, I will.
Yeah.
And this girl, she was very, I always never know not I always, because of course this was one of my first experiences at the club.
Yeah.
But I never know what to say. I sort of say things like, are you in school? And
Are you in school?
is Candy your real name? But I had a very strange experience.
Wow. And what was the experience?
Well, I had this sort of...
First of all, isn't it embarrassing? I've never had a lap dance, and I know that but I think I would find it exciting and embarrassing a little
What
bit.
kind of music is that?
That's just the boys having a little fun over
Is that a
there.
heartbeat?
Lap dance, yes, it's a heartbeat,
I see.
Scott.
Yeah. So what was your experience?
Well, I had this very tall girl. She was like, she was Amazonian. She was like this tall, really, really, really skinny girl. And she was quite manic and strange. And so she's kind of gyrating into me, and she was so thin that her like pelvic or hip bone or some kind of bone like bruised me. It was horrible. What I mean to say is that there's, she was being all sexy, and there's areas that just bruise easily, and I was uncomfortable.
Well, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Now, do you have any of those live theater mishaps that we hear about? Cell phones, people eating candy, somebody dying in the front row, any of that?
Nothing exciting like that yet, but no, we've had a couple of, of course people come in on a Friday and Saturday night and they're totally blasted, and that's always, sort of exciting and strange for us. We had some woman faint yesterday. I guess she, had her liquor before beer or whatever. We all know that old, rule of.
Yeah, it's
getting
posted right in
plastered.
the playbill. They should look at that before they get drunk, and that'll.
Tells you not to mix them.
And when you're, who's the guy, the co-star in this?
Liev Schreiber.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So now you do scenes that are physically intimate. I mean, in space, in terms of space, you're acting right on.
Oh yeah, we're really close to one. I mean, and in fact, actually, we have these scenes where he's really gotten, he's getting very upset, and there's a lot of rage and all kinds of, these emotions bubble up. And a couple of weeks ago, we were doing this scene, and he really is right here, and he starts screaming at me, and I'm tensing up, and all of a sudden I saw it. It was like it happened in this kind of slow motion. These like pearls of spittle sort of flying out, and then this one like asteroid of a loogie just like landed, but it made that flicking, like that flicking sound right there. And it was.
Oh God!
Any normal person would just wipe it away, but I felt the show must go on. And then suddenly, both of us were just kind of doing our lines, but we couldn't. It was this horrible. Like he saw it and I saw it.
Yeah.
It was awful.
Oh, for God's sakes.
Yes, yes, it was really unfortunate. But you know, I get maybe it added to the, you know, the heightened sense of, I
Do you
don't
think
know,
could
nausea.
the audience see the heightened sense of nausea? Could the audience see this? Do you think when it took place?
Oh yeah, I'm sure it was like a,
It's a real deal.
He hit it right out of the park. You know, it really.
Plop. Do you know anything about the tweeting?
I don't know anything about it.
I don't know anything about it either, and I know I'm afraid that I'll get in trouble.
In what way?
Well, because it's like shooting your mouth off, and if you shoot your mouth off, you're always going to get in trouble.
I see. So you're just afraid that it's going to be it's going to be like a verbal diarrhea kind of thing.
So yeah, that kind of thing, because I don't fully understand.
Diarrhea sounds. I shouldn't have said that. Doesn't sound nice at all.
I thought you said diary, is what I thought you said.
That sounds better.
Yeah.
I'll take that. Yeah, sorry.
And since I have no control over it, I'm afraid that not understanding the equipment, I will cause trouble.
I know exactly how you feel.
Do you do anything? Do you email or any of that stuff?
I have an email. I had an email.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You got one email.
Yeah. I don't do any of that social networking stuff.
Right.
I don't know. The idea of it it baffles me. It seems like you're having fun with it though.
Now listen,
You're
I'm exactly. You should know better, because I'm 3 times as old as you are, and I'm supposed to be a dope about stuff like this. But this is right where you live, for God's sakes.
Is it? I don't know. All I know is that it seems like a good place to insult people, and
Right.
and that's I don't know what else you do on that.
Now
thing.
here's what I thought. I met the email guy once, and I said to him, "What
The
do I?"
email what?
Not the email guy, the Twitter guy.
I thought you said the email god.
Yeah, no, the email guy. The
Who is
email
that?
guy. I met the Twitter guy once, and I said, "What do I care if Justin Bieber is at a 7-Eleven? I don't care."
What 7-Eleven? Where?
Yeah. But then I remember there was a time in mankind when you only knew what time it was when you could count the bells on the clock tower in the village. And now, because of watches, we know what time it is all the time. Well, the same is true with social media.
Oh, you mean what you're saying is that you can find out where all your friends are, where all your
connected
favorite
to
celebrities
everything
are.
every second of the day.
It seems a little. It's like too much. I don't like that kind of connection. It's too connected.
And you, speaking of being too connected, you were the victim of somebody being a criminal with that sort of thing.
Yeah, somebody stole my nudie photos and then just they were out there for all the world to see.
Yeah.
Which was it was unfortunate, really.
Well,
I don't know why I'm laughing. It was terrible. Well, it was a real lesson, I have to say, and not only what not to send over the interweb, but also I think it was a lesson in tolerance, because you kind of once that stuff is out there, it's out there. There's nothing you can do about it.
That's what I'm worried about.
I'm worried for you.
Yeah, because
I'm concerned.
Fallon, I don't know much about the guy. What if he's running hot and he decides? He decides he's going to come after me. You know what I mean? I don't need that. Do I need that?
You should get off of that thing.
I think you're exactly right.
I'm scared. I'm concerned.
Yeah, boy, I wish I had a nickel for every time I've heard that. What is that right there?
It's a tattoo, Dave.
This right here?
Yes.
Let me see that. What is? Oh, that's a rising or a setting sun. What is it?
It depends on which way you look at it, I suppose.
Well, what did you ask for? Because I want to know. But now, there's a star. So it could be either, because that would be Venus, the morning star or the evening star, right?
Oh gosh, you just put through that in. How charming. That you knew that it was Venus. You wouldn't know. That's just a nice little piece of information.
Yeah, so good for you. You really do have rising or a setting sun. That's fantastic.
Well, thank you very much.
Where'd you get that?
I actually got it in the middle of nowhere at this tattoo parlor in the middle of nowhere. And it was sort of a spur of the moment thing. I think at the time I was really
drunk.
Feeling
Oh, she wasn't.
Oh,
No.
No, I may have been actually.
Yeah.
But and the guy who did it was terrified, but he did.
What do you mean terrified?
I don't know. I think he was just freaked out. It was like the middle of nowhere, and I rolled up there and just said, "Will you mark me?"
So he's nervous because a big star comes in for a tattoo.
Yeah, I think it was that, and also I don't know. It was a strange. He was a really nice guy. He had done a lot of really big religious pieces and stuff, and. I think it was just a different thing for him. I don't know.
Now, let me ask
like
you a
the
question.
Last Supper on my lower. What?
Strictly speaking, in the world of tattoos, do you want to go to the middle of nowhere to get a tattoo? Is that, to me, that wouldn't ring high quality.
You know.
Oops.
Oh dear. Yes, I mean, I probably wouldn't advise somebody to do it, but at the time it seemed, you know, well, whatever. I have no regrets, Dave.
I like
all right?
that.
I just
No,
don't
think
believe
that-
in them.
I think that turned out great. And you have others,
Thanks.
I know. You have one on your wrist over there.
I have one on my wrist.
Yep.
I have a little one on my ankle.
What is the one on the ankle?
The one on the ankle is a little symbol that I kind of have. It's a little personal symbol I have with a family
That's
member.
beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
The A is
The ankle or the?
The A is
Oh, the A.
the
The
A
tattoo.
is
I'm fishing for compliments here, Dave. Give it
really.
to me now.
Well, you look lovely,
Thank
for heaven's
you.
sakes. Beautiful dress. The movie, you're great in the movie. We think the world of you.
Oh, thank you. I always love coming here. It's great.
Now, where's the other tattoo?
I have.
The new one. You have a new one. You got
I
it.
do have a new one. Yeah, it's on my rib cage.
And what is?
I can't show it to you now.
No. We have a picture of it here.
Oh, great.
This looks like it's fresh. Is this right after it was put on?
Yes.
Do you mind if I show it?
No, go ahead and show it. Well, it didn't. I didn't expect.
Earlier this month, so
Well-
that is brand new. Oh, that's cute. It says "Lucky You."
Oh gosh.
That's great. I
All
like
right.
that. I like that.
Thank you. Well, as you can see, I wasn't meant for everybody, just the lucky ones.
No. People were telling me that you're living part-time or some of your time in Paris. Is that true?
Yes, I do. I actually, I decided to take the plunge and move to Paris, and it's great. I love it. I mean, you know, of course, some of the you know, the stardust twinkles worn off a little bit now, and you know, you start to all the things that you thought were charming before are just
Annoying.
yeah. Well, I don't want to say I'm just offended an entire nation of people, but like usual. But
Well, I'll tell you, they're lucky to have you, for heaven's sake.
well, that's what I think, of course. No, but you know, it's the little things like, you know, I mean, of course, when I first got there, I thought that people were not, that the whole kind of rude Parisian thing was just like, people aren't rude, they're wonderful.
Yes.
Oh, that was before I was a mainstay there, and then people decided that once I wasn't going away, they could just be really terribly rude to me.
they could relax and be rude.
Yeah.
Just be themselves. Now, I know very little about Paris. Tell us, which arrondissement?
Oh, around.
Yeah.
around. I live in the left bank, actually.
Well,
which
it's very
is,
nice over
yes,
there,
it's
isn't
the
it?
kind of artists.
Is it near the Latin Quarter?
Yes, it's close to Latin Quarter. You're getting warmer. You're getting warmer.
And what do you do there?
I like to walk around.
Oh, it's a beautiful city to walk
Yes,
around.
I like to walk around. I mean, well, as I was saying, you know, people there are ruder now, and so I like to walk around, but it's frustrating because, well, people there don't have. I mean, I'm from New York, and I assume that I'm the best, like an amazing walker because, you know, I'm from New
You
York.
haven't seen my mom walk. Ready? Get her out of here.
Well, I
gosh.
just assume that, you know, I mean, because we're from New York and you're kind of, you know, it's a wonderful dance on the street. You kind of avoid and do this, you know, it's a choreography
They are
walking down the
both
street.
two great walking cities, and
Right.
you're from one of them.
Right, yes, when I got there, I assumed that, you know, it's this kind of provincial town. People don't know how to walk here. Like, they don't walk anywhere. They walk everywhere. And the fact that they're just body checking me as they come, it's just part, you know, they're just confused.
Yeah, that's right.
But no, they're not confused. And now, so I just do like a stare down from halfway down the block. And I started getting really aggressive with people now.
Good for you.
And I don't care.
Yeah. Are you
I
with her,
don't
ladies and
care.
gentlemen? She doesn't care. And some of us shot in Shanghai. Is that correct?
Yes, I
Now,
think.
Did you go to Shanghai?
No, I've been to Shanghai before, but not for the. No, like I said, I did everything in post production. I almost fell down the rabbit hole in Shanghai, but somebody
Now, what does that
picked
mean?
me back up.
What happens there? What does that mean?
What?
What does that mean? You almost fell down the rabbit hole.
It's a long story.
No, we got plenty of time.
Well, nothing, not a real big deal. You know, I used to work for Moet, which was a really wonderful contract because there was so much free champagne.
Yeah, that's right.
And that was part of the rabbit hole, of course. It just gets deeper and deeper, and you know, there's a real big party scene in Shanghai.
You know, see, I didn't. How does that happen?
People like to party. I don't know. I mean, yeah, they're very enthusiastic. Big nightlife there. Lots of like night markets and nightlife and all kinds of music. And you know, I guess one glass of champagne led to another, and I almost fell down the rabbit hole, but somebody caught me.
Whoa. Now this sheds a whole new light on Chinese behavior. I thought they were. Honestly, I thought they were commies.
You're not allowed to say that.
You're not allowed to say that. And that's, to me, then I see Shanghai, and it's like, oh my God, it's the city of the future.
I don't want to participate in this conversation.
But that's Shanghai. I was fascinated by the city is actually that big and that metropolitan and that sophisticated.
Yeah, it's pretty intense. I mean, of course, the crazy thing about Shanghai is that you take one wrong, I mean, you just can't find your way. You're totally discombobulated, and it's so big and so different, and lots of interesting smells going on there. Yeah, it's a whole other world. Mm-hmm. It's a whole other world.
Well, you get a snoot full of champagne, you go to Newark, it's a whole different world too. For God's sake.
Steve, I have to say, I am so incredibly honored to be on one of your very last shows.
Well, God bless you. Thank you for being here.
The first time I was on this show, I was 13 years old. It was 1998. I was so nervous because for me, and still for me, coming on the show is like, it's like you've made it when you're on Dave Letterman, right? That's really the truth.
13 years old, you were here, we were talking about a movie you were in called The Horse Whisperer.
That's right. It was The Horse Whisperer, and you actually gave me a canned ham, and yeah, and my dad kept it in the fridge till I was like 25, and it walked out on its own practically. Yeah, yeah.
Those things, they will explode if they're not kept refrigerated.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
Let's take a look. This is, you know what the clip is?
Yes.
Okay, what is this going to be?
I think this is a clip where I'm riding a motorcycle, which I did all of those stunts.
You were on a motorcycle when you were 7 months pregnant?
No, obviously not.
Of course not.
There's no way.
What's the matter with me?
I don't know. I know, I was riding a really embarrassing, no, I'm not going to tell you any of that stuff because that's all movie magic. But anyway, this clip, I think I'm riding a motorcycle, and I think I'm handing some action over to Cap, if I'm not mistaken.
Take a look. Here we go. Marvel's Avengers: Age of Ultron.
That was me following the woman around in the hills.
$200 million.